The dreaded fork in the road, left or right, this way or that, your way or my way. The road of life will bring us face to face with decisions that will take us on divergent paths. For the past 13 years, I've served as pastor of Central Assembly in Superior, Wisconsin. My name is Tom Miller. This is Fuel for the Fire, volume 924, Two Ways. There are two kinds of people who will stand before God at the judgment: the saved and the lost. Lost people live their way, saved people live God's way. This is the story of Cain and Abel. Genesis 4:2 says, Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. The fall had already occurred, and God himself had offered the first acceptable sacrifice in Genesis 3:21. The fig leaves Cain and Abel's parents used to cover their sinful selves were deemed unacceptable by God. The fig leaves were their way. The innocent animal killed was God's way. A generation passed, and when the brothers went to offer their sacrifice, Cain brought the produce of his field. Abel brought a lamb. Two ways. Cain knew what to do, and he refused. He chose his way over God's way. Cain represents man's effort. And the Lord said unto Cain in Genesis 4:6 and 7, Why are you angry? If you do well, you will be accepted. And if you do not well, sin lies at the door. Cain should have traded his produce for an animal to sacrifice. Abel's vocation was not more honorable than Cain's, but the sacrifice offered had to be God's way if it was to provide atonement. It's still our problem today. We choose our way. We think our behavior will merit heaven. We give money to church and charity. We put on a pharisaical facade of religiosity. But the way to heaven is by the blood of the Lamb. There is no other way to satisfy God's righteousness. An innocent must die for the guilty. We're all sinners. God was beyond gracious when he sent Jesus as our only way and only hope of salvation. Now think of the audacity of proclaiming our own goodness before a holy God. It's the same as Cain squabbling about God not accepting his sacrifice. Hebrews 11:4 says, By faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained a witness that he was righteous. Two ways, your way or God's way. That's the way I see it. And that's a little fuel for the fire. And remember, I love you guys.